So, this week, we're going to be playing Discard Zoo, and there's a lot of different ways to build Discard Zoo, honestly, but there's some core themes here. So let's take that a version. Let's take a look at a version here. We got Zizo's Discard Zoo, where he was running two abusive sergeants that I just kind of pulled out because they're bad now, because they are now 1/1s instead of 2/1. Well, they're not bad. They're just not as good. But this is the complete list that he was running. So the main premise of any one of these Discard Zoo decks is you run the Melkazar Imps, Soulfire, the Darkshire Librarian, and Doomguard. Oh, and Silverware Golem. Very important you run Silverware Golem. So you do need to get Karazhan for this, or Kalazar for this deck to actually work, but that's kind of it. I mean, you have the one rare in here. Otherwise, it's all really cheap, which is a nice benefit for this deck. Anyway, getting a little off topic. So the point is that these discard cards like Doomguard, Soulfire were already really strong. Soulfire hasn't seen too much play. Doomguard's been played since Classic, since the beta, honestly. Doomguard's just stuck around this entire time because it's just a strong card, even with that discard mechanic. Soulfire was a card that also saw a ton of play up until it ended up getting nerfed and dropped from 0 to 1 mana. Now at 1 mana it sees less play, but you'll still see it in budget Zoo decks, and honestly it's mostly shied away from because everybody hates cards that get nerfed. Like, I'm sure Abusive Sergeant's not going to see any play, even though it's actually still a pretty decent card. Just because now it's nerfed. We hate nerfed cards here at Hearthstone. But anyway, now that you have Melkazar Imp and Silverware Golem, you just really benefit from these discard cards, because when you pull out of Silverware Golem for free, it's really strong. That's a 3/3 body out of nowhere. And when you draw cards, when you discard, that makes Soulfire and Doomguard actually really strong cards, because you can cycle your deck, but more importantly, you don't face the detriment of playing a Doomguard on turn 5. And that's really, really absurdly strong. It can just win games for you, especially in Zoo, which is a heavily tempo-based deck, because you build such a strong board state so quickly that the main threat to Zoo is running out of cards. And obviously being able to tap helps, but with such a low curve, like, look at this, 16 1-drops, 6 2-drops, 4 3-drops, having more cards in your hand and not having to tap as early allows you to build an even stronger board faster. Now, there are obviously different ways to build the deck. Here we can see a pretty standard Zoo with the Argent Squire, Abusive Sergeant. It leans farther on the left side of the curve, having a heavier 1-drop slot. Whereas Tsujo, he drops some of the 1-drops, puts more into the 2s and the 3s, decides to run the Darkshire Councilmans instead, loses some of the 1-drops. You still have the Abusive Sergeants, this was pre-nerf, and decides to put in a Forbidden Ritual to just kind of round everything out. It's a very similar deck. You have the Knife Jugglers in here because Knife Juggler is just really good when you're spamming out on the board so strong. Again, you can see how it's just really how you want to make it. You know, make your own adventure Zoo. Just, they have that core again of the Doomguard, Silverware Golem, Darkshire Librarian, Soulfire, Imp. Now, I should point out that the reason that you have the Librarian in here is just to allow for an extra discard card on top of Doomguard and Soulfire to ensure you can activate the Silverware Golems. Because Silverware Golem is such a strong card, you need to have some sort of activator in your deck, and having 6 ensures that it'll go off like 90% of the time. Sottle is a guy who really wanted to take it to the extreme, and I don't actually have all of the cards to show you what it looks like, but the 3 missing cards here are crafting. Bah. Fist. Crafting. Search. Come on. Where are you? Oh, that's why. Yeah. Fist of Jiraxis. When you discard a card, this card deals 4 damage to a random enemy. Or when you discard this card, it deals 4 damage to a random enemy. You can also play it, but you would never want to pay 4 mana for this effect, because it's terrible. Now, you can put that in, and I would advise against it, but Sottle disagrees with me, and he is a pro player, so there might be some merit to this theory. He also likes to run 2 Tiny Knights of Evil. I only have 1. That's the other missing card. And when you have that, you really rely on the discard mechanic to the point you almost want to put in Succubus, but Succubus is so bad that it just really has no place. I think Sot will win a little bit overboard, because when you have that many cards in your deck you want to throw out of your hand, you really risk not drawing one of the activators and just kind of throwing a game. Again though, if you want to go down that route, I'd say stop before you start putting Succubuses in your deck, and really consider dropping the Fist as well. I just don't think it's that good. I don't think Tiny Knight of Evil will garner enough value to be worth playing in your deck. I mean, a 2-mana 3/2 isn't terrible, but you got to appreciate that this is instead of having a Direwolf Alpha. This is instead of having a Knife Juggler, because those are cards that just don't fit into this deck now. And those cards are strong Zoo cards that I think are just better than this Tiny Knight of Evil can potentially be. Well, they're consistently better than the potential awesome plays out of Tiny Knight of Evil, even though there will be that 1 in 5 games where it'll get out of control and suddenly you're like, oh man, I got a 7/4 Tiny Knight of Evil, it's absurd. Well, sorta, yeah, but how many times did it not do that versus the number of juggles you could have just gotten off of Knife Juggler, or the buffs that you could have gotten off of Direwolf Alpha? I think when you really boil it down, and I'll show you the deck that I ended up finishing off with, you just really need the Silverwares, the Doom Guards, the Darkshire Librarian, Soulfire, and the Imp. So that's 10 cards out of your 30 card deck. Now, 4 of those cards were already basically in, well, 2 were in every Zoo deck, 4 of them saw play in Zoo way before this. So you don't need to be throwing in bad cards to really play up the discard effect. Once you start doing that, you get away from the core purpose of this, which is to add a little bit extra oomph to an already strong deck in the form of Zoo. And it really performs amazingly well, a lot better than I expected. I was expecting this to be just kind of a gimmick, you know, one of those decks like the Divine Shield Paladin that shows up and disappears. But honestly, this deck feels like it kind of solves some of the problems Zoo had with running out of cards and being able to come back, which is something that Zoo doesn't really have many catch-up mechanics, you know? It just never really has. And now the ability to summon Silverware Golems out of nowhere and the ability to keep drawing cards while discarding with these high-tempo cards, it allows you to get back in the game from behind. And like Doomguard's, the tempo effect of Doomguard has always been amazing. Always. And that's why it sees so much play. But now the fact that you can draw off of Doomguard means you can not only have that immediate board presence, but then have the lasting hand capacity to keep going, to keep up that tempo. Because that was supposed to be the trade-off, was that you have immediate tempo in exchange for sacrificing future tempo. But now you don't sacrifice anything, and that's crazy. And what's also crazy is just how often these combos go off. I mean, you would think that it wouldn't be that often, but almost every single game you're going to be getting Silverware Golems, or you're at least going to be drawing cards. You got to play a little bit intelligently about it, but I don't think it's that hard, and the Darkshire Librarian really adds to just keeping that consistency up and preventing you from having to tap for an extra turn or two. I'm really impressed with this deck overall, and you know what, we're just going to jump into the games and you're going to see what I'm talking about, because it's a lot more than what I expected. And man, I had a lot of fun playing this. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so first off, we got ourselves against a mage. Nice. So, we're basically playing Zoo with an added gimmick. I mean, so you throw away just like you're playing Zoo. You want 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops. And you never actually play Silverware Golem. You don't. Flame Imp is the strong start, particularly against a mage, because it means we shut down any sort of Mana Worm shenaniganry. More or less, he could Mana Worm, coin, and then Arcane Missiles and hope for the 1 out of 3. Did I just call it? Did I just call this shit? Oh! Does he get the 1 and 3 though? Oh, he gets the 1 and 3. Oh, that is brutal. That is so brutal. Okay, okay. Oh, that sucks so much. Alright. Like, we could have thrown out the Knife Juggler there, but I honestly think this is the better play. That sucks. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. We're not out of it, by any means. This deck has better catch-up mechanics. He clears. You don't want to be doing that against me, but okay, I'm fine with that. I am quite alright with him clearing. Oh, I can't believe he gets the... Wow, that is some eerie shit, though, where I just call the one play that just wrecks me. Because obviously it would be better to have the Possessed Villager out in that particular scenario. What you gonna do, man? You got 2 mana. And you drew a random spell. And he did that really quick, so he doesn't have a good play. That's a good indication. Like, when somebody draws immediately at the start of their turn, it means they don't like their hand. At least not for the board state they currently are facing.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Okay.
Put this apple on your head.
Yeah, we played both because we will hit the one it doesn't hit, alright? And then we hope for some little bit of luck. No luck. No. 0 luck. Okay, fine. The hell with you. I didn't want to feel at all lucky anyway. I really think he should have hit me in the face off the bat with his Mana Worm, and going for the clear is an incorrect play as Tempo Mage against any form of Zoo. I strongly believe this to be true. So we have the Imp, and we have a card we want to discard. So all we need now is either Soulfire, Librarian. We could potentially play Doomguard next turn, honestly. Whoop. Alright, so he clears us, but I think we can win the game here of who can outlast who. Alright, so for the free summon, extra 4 damage, draw a card. Oh, okay. Let's draw an extra card there. Oh, right, because derp. That's dumb of me. But yeah, this is still pretty tough board state for him to deal with. And I could have tapped instead, but I saved life. I get a 3/2 on the board. I just generally feel this is a better play. It's a bit of a shame, because I would have rather have had the Librarian. Okay, that's quite alright. Woohoo! Good stuff, good stuff.
I'll find it.
Obviously, so we draw the card. Tap, because you never actually played this card. And notably, had it on the right side, so I can use this and get the 2/2/2s, which, you know what, I don't think that's actually half bad here. Potentially he has Blizzard, but even if he plays Blizzard, I still have a 1/3 and a 3/1 on the board, or, I mean, a 1/1 and a 3/1, which isn't too bad, particularly because 1 allows me to draw, I have the Silverware Golem in hand. Yeah, I'm in a pretty strong spot, I'd say, overall. And apparently he does not have a board clear, because he's forgotten torching me. Cool beans. This guy. But yeah, it plays like Zoo, but it's Zoo with a little bit more unfair stuff. Alright. What do we draw? Whoa. Stealth is pretty good. Tap, tap, taparoo. We'll save in case he has Flame Strike. It's pretty unlikely that he does, but we already have lethal on board, and short of Flame Strike, he won't really be able to get rid of enough damage. But if he were to have Flame Strike, and I were to play out the Direwolf Alpha, that just plays into it even harder. And I'm already, like, pretty heavily committed. He had a strong opening. As I said, he shut me down with the exact thing, but not trading away. He should be playing a little more aggressive than he is, because he's used 12 damage of burst and missed 3 damage, so he could have me at 4 health right now. And like, yeah, he's at 9 health, but I think you kind of gotta play to your strengths when you're in that position. We're gonna tap looking for lethal. Alright. We're gonna dig for lethal one more time.
The truth is in here.
Because there are 2 power overwhelmings. Ah! Not quite good enough. Get rid of that. There we go. Easy game. Just started the season here. Okay, playing against some sort of paladin. Ugh. Can a fella get a 1-drop? Yes. Why, thank you. Pretty good 2-drop as well. Having 2 discard cards in your hand kind of sucks, but it's alright. Not the end of the world. I will go for the Fender. Imp. Might have been better to throw out the Juggler there. Then I'd get 2 shoots next turn. But I'm going to want to trade, so... Turns out this was pretty good call. We get the shot. We get the shot. There we go. Playing into Consecrate crazy hard. Does he have it? Does he got the Consecrates? Consecrates? That looks like Coin Consecrate. Yeah. Okay, we should have traded the 2-2, so we had the guy still up. It's okay though. It's okay. We'll be alright. We'll be totally alright here. Yeah, no, totally fine. Totally fine. Makes a dude. Okay. Clear that, because there are a considerable number of buffs available to Paladin that could really screw us over. Ouch. Not the end of the world. Because we'll just continue to flood. We still have the board presence.
Reporting for duty. Follow the rules.
Outdoor peacekeeper. Oh no. Alright. Good to just keep the board under control, not let him use any of the buffs he might have in his hand, because if he gets big minions on the board, Zoo just doesn't really have a great way to deal with those. Ooh, 5 mana Solemn Vigil. Jeez, bud, I'm sorry. I'm not actually going to apologize, because that's just real BM. But, oh, I'm so sorry, man.
I'll find it.
What's in the box? Okay. That plays into Consecrate pretty hard. And he probably still has another one, so let's just hold off on that. They already played into one Consecrate really badly. Let's not make the same mistake twice here. See? See? Tap first. Nice.
Put this apple on your head.
That's the good stuff right there. Okay, so I want to make this trade. Shoot him in the face. Draw a card. Summon a card. Play a card. Ah. I think we got him. I think we got him. What do you got? What do you got? Learn from your mistakes would be the lesson of this game. If you play into one consecrate terribly, don't play into two.
Your faith in the light.
Oh, he's got the cheapest card in the whole game. Shucks. Shucks, I say. Shucks. So 4 and 2 with the juggle allows us to do. We have 4 more mana, so we can buff that by. So we do have lethal if the juggle hits. The juggle has to hit if I do it this way. Is there any other way to go about this? Well, you get multiple juggles, so we should just have lethal. Do I hit with the 1/3 first is the question, maybe. Alright, we hit with the 1/3 first.
My shield for Argon.
Hit there. Do that. We win. Actually, throw it well played. Yeah, I get so excited about winning that I forget to well play. I've been playing for years, and I become like an immature schoolgirl when I play this game some days. Ugh. Again, season just reset. Another warrior. Alright, fine. Huh. This is the first time I've drawn a 1-drop. We hold silverware. It synergizes with a big amount of our deck. Yeah, I'll keep silverware. I like this hand, honestly. I'm gonna keep it. Do I think he has Winax? They always have Winax, which is why I play Possessed Villager. Because in my experience, they always have it. Always. I don't want my Flame Imp to get Winaxed. Ooh. Another Imp? I'll take the Soulfire. We have the silverware in hand. Yeah, I think that's the good call.
Let the pain speak to me.
We draw the imp anyway. We might get to draw an extra card here. We might even get to hit execute if he has execute. But I think that's okay. We're setting up for a pretty killer turn. Like a really killer turn, honestly. If we draw another 1-drop, then yeah, this gets real silly real quick. Alright. Ooh, that's base. Yeah, that's good enough. No, it's not, because I can't do that. Do I risk it? Do I risk it? I risk it. I'm feeling lucky. Oh, always lucky. Always lucky. Oh, we got rid of that. You can have an extra card. Has he blown his coin yet? I don't think so. I don't think he's used his coin. So he might be able to coin Brawless here, which would be the best play. Especially if you know I have a goddamn Doomguard in my hand. He has to get rid of the 5/4 somehow. If he coin Brawls, that's actually not too bad for us. 'Cause... okay, he's not brawling. What do you got? Ravaging Ghoul? War Axe. Slam War Axe. Oh man, that stings. It stings a lot. Yeah, I'll discard both of those. Ouch. Ouch. Ooh. Oh. Ooh, that stings. He's in lethal range with a Soulfire that I already have in my hand. Oh. Jeez, just get rolled over, why don't you? God damn, this is a mean deck, honestly. I was thinking that it would be worse than Zoo, but the amount of times that these imps pay off, I actually am starting to think that this deck is a little bit better than standard Zoo, just because you have a little bit of extra draw, and the Silverware Golem is a crazy strong tempo play that you can get pretty damn consistently. No, this is going to be like a new actual standard deck that will probably replace Zoo in most places. Huh. Oh yeah, he can keep doing things, but I mean, he's already lost the game. There's no way out of this. Oh, well played. Well played.
The truth is in here.
Get it out! Get it out!
Pretty good game. Pretty good game.
Gul'dan versus Karazhan.
Alright, up against some form of warrior.
Your soul shall be mine.
We want a 1-drop. Give us a 1-drop. Well, fine. Didn't really want a 1-drop anyway. Not like almost half my deck are 1-drops. Well, no, actually, 7 cards. Come on, though. That's still pretty good odds out of 3. Well, 6, because I threw away my whole hand. Whoa. Oh. That's better than a 1/1. Obviously, you don't really like throwing your imps out naked, but sometimes it's what you gotta do, and you hope he doesn't have a Win-Axe. Oh, does he have a Win-Axe? Come on. Come on. Like, obviously he's running the Win-Axe. That's not really a question. It's just, come on. It's really important to keep playing minions, as tempting as it may be to tap there instead of playing 2 1/1s for 2 mana. You gotta keep playing minions. It's just more important. May have undervalued my imp. It's like a debatable thing. Could imp Soulfire, draw a card. That's pretty bad though. And I want the defender next turn. Oh man. Alright, that's as good as it gets, I guess. Past turn 3. So we're having a pretty bad opening here. Pretty awful opening. cool. Then we get to defender these guys, which is quite nice. Love to pick at him. Huh. Interesting choice, I think. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do this. Because I already have the one Soulfire in hand, I'd rather have the Void Walker. Alright. Don't think he'd want to brawl this. If he does, that's okay. I'm fine with him brawling it. And I basically hope that the 1-3 doesn't win. Okay. Not as good as the Juggler winning, but also not too bad. We will draw 2 cards. Nice. Pretty good. Pretty good. Not amazing. Pretty damn good. Execute. Run the 2 mana execute. Oh boy. Can we draw a Silverware Golem? No, we can't. Okay. Yeah, we'll do 3, 1, shoot.
Job's done.
The taunt's nice because it prevents him from being able to get us with a weapon. Might be running Arcanite Reaper or Gorehowl. I'd say Gorehowl is more likely in that kind of control deck. Slam Execute for 4 mana. Slam Bash, okay. Nice. Alright. 3, 5, 6, 7.
The truth is in here.
Now this is a board that you really want to brawl if you have the opportunity to. There we are. You get to draw an extra card, probably. And probably get a 1-1. No, don't get the 1-1. But we do get to draw an extra card.
Let the pain speak to me. Get it out! Get
Oops.
it out!
My mistake. Whoopers.
My shield!
That was dumb of me. Lost 1 potential damage on the Darkshire. No good way to clear that. And he's used both brawls now. Bash execute. Revenge. Shield slam. Okay. Okay, not terrible. Go like that, so we can clear with that one. Might as well just play it out. More potential damage, and he's out of board clears. I think we got him. He's used most of his heals. I'm almost out of cards. Should have kept him just above 12. I knew he was running Revenge, and that was dumb of me.
The truth is in here.
Obviously, we just hit him. We don't want to worry about trying to clear this thing. He has Alex Strazo. We might actually lose because I played into Revenge. It's just a card I don't think about yet because it used to not be a card people ran. You wouldn't do that if you had Alex Strazo unless he's a bad player. Doom God! Execute. Jeez, man. What do we got? A knife juggler, alright.
There's a apple on your head.
A paltry task. That was
Almost through the game. Almost through the game. We'll have to clear that away. Can't risk him having the 1 damage, so he would have had to have cleared either way. Now we got him. Jeez. Playing too fast at rank 20. Woo. I didn't well play, I'm sorry. Alright, so that was Discard Warlock. So Jamie here has no idea what this is, so I'm just gonna
Not a clue. Good night,
brief rundown. So basically, it's Zoo, which is familiar magic concept. You have a bunch of little monsters, right? And you play them out. In Warlock, a class that lets you draw extra cards. But
Familiar L5R concept too with the Mantis. But continue, sir.
Yep. So you have a bunch of monsters, and you draw cards, and then you throw in discarding. And so they added this new card where it's an imp, and every time you discard a card, you draw a card. And Warlock historically has had a couple of really strong creatures that are like absurdly strong for their mana cost, but they make you throw away cards.
Like drop out a hand?
Yeah, you just throw them away.
Alright.
But it's like, oh, I got this crazy strong monster with charge, Doomguard. It's a 5/7 with charge, which are really strong stats for 5 mana.
Especially with the life you're given in a game.
Yeah. It can hit you for a 1/6 of your health. It has 7 defense, so it can usually kill 2-3 things, and it makes you discard 2 cards out of hand. But now suddenly you're drawing 2 extra cards, and the thing that struck me about it is I was thinking this was going to be a gimmick. You know, discard Warlock, oh, that sounds goofy. But there's actually just enough cards. There's about 10 cards that fit this out of your 30-card deck.
That's way good enough.
Yeah, no, that's there's more cards. If you wanted, you could go up to about 18, but I think you're really overdoing it at 18 out of 30 cards playing off this gimmick. But it's a lot more than a gimmick. It's a solid strategy. It makes overall Zoo, which was already a top tier deck since the beta. Like this Zoo has been around forever, and now it's even stronger. It just seems even better.
Well, damn. Well, what stands up against it, real quick?
Right now in the meta, I control decks to draw their board clears.
That's what I was about to say. Harkening back to my experience in Forcible and L5R, if you have a problem with the Swarm, you gotta kill it all right there and then. And sometimes it's real cheesy. Sometimes you have to wait till the top of the 4th turn. You're just about to die, and if they counter it, you're blammo, you're gone, but you need to play that Dark Pulse. You need to J-activate and just wipe it all.
Yeah.
Oh.
If that happens, the thing is,
But in Hearthstone...
you gotta do it like 3 times.
Ah!
Zoo's a real strong deck. You can keep swarming. You can keep filling that board out again and again and again. And now with you drawing extra cards, you have more late... Because that was the biggest hindrance to Zoo, historically, is you run out of things to play. And that's why you play Warlock, because you can draw extra cards in exchange for health.
Yeah.
But now you get to draw more. And now that you're drawing more cards, you get an extra 2-3 turns of pressure. And it just seems really tough to hold up against, honestly.
And out of your games, as they saw, I haven't yet. Sorry, guys. What would you infer? What have you learned?
Only games I lost, I misplayed. So I kept them out, because playing a little bit quick. But I didn't go up against any mid-range hunters, which is a strong deck that may be able to counter this sort of aggro. Because with it, you're a little bit slower than standard Zoo in terms of your win rate. In terms of the turn you win on.
Yeah.
You're usually winning on around turn 9 or 10 instead of turn 7 or 6.
So maybe if they're messing up. And my closing thoughts for this video is I'm going to take us back to a professional Yu-Gi-Oh player we know. And what he says is, well, if you're doing bad, hope they mess up. Beat them. You know, I know we don't like to think of that, but that's part of the head games. And, well, he misplayed.
Yeah.
You lost. Rank. You gotta.
If you're playing properly, you know how to play around board clears. Like, if you play really heavily into a board clear, they'll shut you down. But if you're not an idiot and you don't play into them, you just hold a couple of cards because I don't need a full board to beat you.
There you go.
Then it's really tough. I think mid-range will do well against it. I didn't find any mid-range hunters out there right now because the meta's really shifted to control, and this wrecks control. It wrecks aggro. It's just really solid.
For that matter, if you get wrecked by this, please post in our comments, thumbs up, what the hell happened, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It might even end up getting hit by the nerfs. Maybe people just haven't adjusted to it quite yet. We'll see.
Saying get hit by nerfs, that's, from what I understand, a pretty special list.
Yeah. Well, they just had some nerfs come out that did target Zoo. So that is a strong indicator. But we'll see where things go. I think it's too early to say it's OP. I mean,
whoa! Throw up your hands, pray the gospel. OP can't deal with it. No. Play better, and don't die.
Yeah.
You know, play conservatively. Play around the board clears. If you see them coming up and you don't have board clears, impress us.
Yeah. I don't think it's impossible. I just think it's tough, and it's gonna be around for a long time. So get used to it, really. This is the brand new set. Almost everything in this is either classic or out of Karazhan. So we probably got almost 2 years of this deck.
Thing about the meta is it's not so much the cards you have, but how you play them. Good luck. It's really esoteric.
Yeah.
Oof. And if you like... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you like the videos we put out, like, comment, we love it, and subscribe. And if you really enjoy what we do and want to see us do greater things, it's called Patreon, and we're signed up. Check us there, and until the future, see ya.
See ya.